first matchup. Here they come. The last time Italy stepped out on Welsh soil 2 years ago, it was next door at the Principality Stadium. They left the pitch then with a jubilant win. Wales, and you look Wales in many ways, have had a buoyant autumn, beating their Celtic cousins, Ireland and Scotland. And with new coaches and a new captain, their hopes are high for better things, led by new captain Siwan Lillicrap. So first the formalities, the anthems for Italy, Il Canto degli Italiani, for Wales, Mae Henwlad Fen Hedai.
Please stand for the national anthems. Starting with Italy.
The Lewis Merthyr Band and the Cardiff Blues Choirs giving us great musical introduction. No fewer than 11 new players have been blooded in the red shirts this season for Wales. Today we see 5 of them. Kayleigh Powell starts at full-back in a potent back 3, including the much-travelled 7-star Jazz Joyce up front. Well, it's a new-look front row with Pearce, Jones and Hale intent on cementing their places as their predecessors had done. There's a new full-back for Italy too. 18-year-old Vittoria Ostuni makes her international debut, replacing regular 15 Manuela Furlan. Other injuries force the move inside for Beatrice Rigoni. She'll form the playmaker role alongside the experience of Sara Baratine. On the bench, well, Wales have opted for a 6-2 split on their bench, with Ruth Lewis hoping to get her first taste of international rugby. Similarly, Skofka, Scobini, Paganini and Mancini are Six Nations newbies. There's Siwan Lillicrap ready to lead her team on. I'm Simon Ward, alongside me former Wales captain Philippa Tatchett. Always so eager to get things going on the first game. Sarah Cox, so experienced a referee. It's the Cardiff Arms Park, it's the 2020 Six Nations, and for Wales and Italy, it's all systems go. Philippa, the surge of emotion now going through all those 30 bodies has to be quelled, has to be controlled. That's an easier said than done feat.
Yeah, the first game of the Six Nations, these girls have been preparing for this for months. It's been in the calendar, it's been in their mind every single day. Now it's time to bring that energy, yes, but bring it with control.
Wales finished fourth in last year's championship, but for Italy, of course, it was something of a breakthrough year, beating France in that last game to end in a best ever second spot in the table. That resets the bar now. Are they up to the new expectations? Wales already testing them now as Karen Lake finds her way up towards the 22. Wilkins. Ron Crabb sets the stall out, and Wales looking to go first footing into the red zone. There's Kayleigh Powell. Bevan has the forwards hanging wide. Kelsey Jones. What a great opportunity it is for the young hooker. Wales looking to get the width on it. Lillicrap straightening things up.
Wait.
Hale and Crabb. Good work from Pearce, the loose head. And the interception coming through. An important interception, and allows Italy to catch their breath and force Wales to go again from halfway. Jazz Joyce, this is what the Welsh fans love. Give her the opportunity in the space. She takes sevens into 15 so naturally.
She absolutely does, and she was missing in the autumn internationals because alongside Hannah Jones, Alicia Butchers, she took the opportunity to play some sevens over in Australia, but she is back, she is looking sharp, and it'll be really exciting if she can get her hands on the ball.
Robin Wilkins just discussing with the skip what she wants, and points on the board always invaluable.
And this is where we're seeing the penalty infringement occurred. You can see the Welsh player, they're trying to play the ball back, but we had hands in from the Italian players. So penalty to Wales. Great set of phase play then. I'm really enjoying the variety of attack that Wales are showing. They're using the short runners, but equally having the confidence to go out wide as well.
Now, it's been a lovely dry day. Thankfully, the overnight rain has disappeared, but it is a very strong wind, and that is going to affect the kickers.
It very much is, and as you've mentioned, with a change to the Italian squad where we would normally see the captain Manuela Furlan there at 15, we have a Six Nations debutant in Ostini. So I wouldn't be surprised if Wales would try and use this win, get the ball up high and land some high balls on her to really test her.
Robin Wilkins steps up and sure-footed sets Wales on their way on the scoreboard. She only missed one kick in 6 in last year's tournament, has great accuracy off the tee and shown that again already in this year's.
It's so important, isn't it, to have your reliable kicker in these high-pressured moments that can just tick that scoreboard over. I know the Welsh ambition is to definitely score more tries in this campaign, but equally, notching up those 3 points will build the pressure, hopefully to create some gaps in the Italian defence.
So Baratine starts things up.
Straight out?
No,
Okay.
no, the line-out call on that far side. We've got Nikki O'Donnell and Catherine Ritchie supporting Sarah Cox. And there you see a great call from the officials. Johnny on the spot. Kelsey Jones, how long has she waited to get this starting berth in the Six Nations? Karis Phillips, of course, not part of the group for this tournament. She earned her 50th cap against Spain in the autumn, and she'd had 50 consecutive games, so Kelsey Jones gets the award for patience, joining the Jamie George school of patient hookers.
That's 2 early penalties there from the Italians. They've got to keep their discipline.
Giordano, the Italian skip, just not doing enough to get away from the tackle. And Sarah Cox laying out the law early doors, as she should do. Quick tap and go here. Wales trying to catch Italy, looking for that far line out. Instead, they've gone here to the near side. Ostuni, not used to kicking, I'm told. She prefers to run, kicks to her opposite number. Powell and Wilkins just weighing up the options. Good tackle from Magatti, but again, Wales can set up their attacking stall.
No, hands out! Hands out.
Welsh backs lining up to the left. Wilkins wants to go to the right, though. Beth Lewis becoming more and more of an important feature in this Wales side, young as she is. Round the outside goes Jasmine Joyce. And again, those forwards happy to get their hands on the ball. Gwenllian Pearce, the loose head, known to her teammates now as Mako, after Maka Vunipola, because she loves to get into the loose, get into the mix.
Yeah, what a nickname to have, eh? That's quite a compliment. But absolutely, very mobile. Got a real good work ethic as well. She's more than happy to find herself on the wing, find herself midfield and offer herself as a runner.
The Bristol Bears scrum off. Bevan just not able to control the breeze, which is going to allow Italy this put in. There's Melissa Bittoni, another stalwart in the Italian side. Baratine has to try and cope with a loose bouncing ball. Of course, playing on plastic, it's a different bounce.
Yeah, it is a different surface. The ball will react that little bit differently.
Could have been a penalty there from Italian
looking at
players standing in front, albeit inadvertently, but that tells you everything you need to know about the first 7 minutes of this game.
Crouch!
Yeah, but that is something, if you go back through the stats of the 2019 Six Nations, Wales would always have a good chunk of possession, but it was capitalising on it and turning it into tries, which is something I know that Welsh camp are really looking to target this year.
Bevan trying to burrow her way down the short side. Joyce steps in as the feed. Hale and Lewis not quite on the same page there.
Just see here pass from Jasmine Joyce. Lovely little soft hands, but maybe just not quite expecting that there. Beth Lewis just with that knock on. There wasn't too much urgency coming from that Italian backline defence, and if anything, I think the message from the side should be get up in their faces. Wales are playing on the gain line, put them under more pressure.
Talking to Chris Horseman, one of the new Wales coaches yesterday, and he was keen to stress how much the early momentum needs controlling the emotion of the game as well, just to settle into it. I mentioned earlier how long these teams have been waiting to get going, and it is a real surge of emotion, of passion off the back of the anthems. You just got to get your head into gear with everything you've been working on in the training paddock.
Crouch! Bind!
Horseman, one of the new triumvirate of Wales coaches, along with Gareth Wyatt and Geraint Lewis, taking this team in and through the Six Nations.
Okay,
Valeria Fadrighi sets things up for Yazuri. Baratine taps and goes. Franco waiting. There she is. We'll be focusing on her a lot. Kelsey Jones is focused on her in that contact. Stopped her inside her own half.
We're going to have to go scrum. The ball's inside her shirt.
Oh, any excuse, referee. Any excuse. Play it.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Well, we've heard the ball up the jumper from many a pack, but I've never actually seen it.
That was quite literal, wasn't it?
Oh, I would have loved her to just run with the ball there, but inside the shirt, nobody would have known where it was.
No. What a great one-up hit there from Kelsey Jones. As you mentioned before, she has been biding her time. Had a little stint with the sevens as well, very mobile forward. But so exciting now to see this new young front row, where we're used to seeing Carol Thomas, Karis Phillips, Amy Evans. We've now got Clean Pearce, Kelsey Jones and Karis Hale.
Yeah, Amy Evans having to watch her first match for a while. It's been such a stalwart of this Wales team for so long, retired just before Christmas. Rigoni, Italy working it wide to Ostuni. Ostuni laying it off for Magatti. Good cohesive play from the visitors. Franco having to bundle her way up towards the 22. Good hit coming through from Pearce. The Pearce just highlighting how much hard work numbers 1, 2 and 3 are doing for Wales in defence and attack. Duca. Italy loading up the short side, but the little inside pop goes to Rigoni. The two halfbacks getting their act together very quickly inside the Welsh 22. Now Italy with more options right and left, a more centralised position. They keep it swinging to the left with Lucia Gai. Maratine tries to get the backs in operation. The little dab through. Who's going to get there first? Great pick up and release to Jazz Joyce. I think that was it Hannah Jones or Karen Lake who came across there?
Kaylee Powell.
Kaylee Powell, beg your
yeah.
pardon. Great anticipation from the new 15. And it needed it. The little dab through there from Stefan.
What a high pressure situation there for Kaylee Powell to deal with. You could feel the Italians were really building on that pressure. It was a great kick through, but that bobbling ball along the ground, Kaylee not only picks it up at her feet, but then has the ambition to release the wing to counter-attack straight away. Really positive start for the back three.
And Jazz Joyce, the release valve on the outside, unable to make any headway. She's been playing for 3 months in Australia, so she'll be used to this weather. Not. Adelaide, playing for Adelaide University in the National Universities League out there, along with the likes of Hannah Jones and Alicia Butchers.
Yeah, it was a great experience for Jasmine Joyce. She is definitely going to be targeting the Olympics as well. So she wanted to get some of the sevens experience under her belt into the Six Nations and then see what happens from there.
That's already an Olympian, of course, Jazz Joyce. The only non-English player that made that squad for Rio. Maybe there'll be a few more this time round. We shall wait and see. Lucia Gai, a professional pastry maker in her day wear, but anything but now as a tight head for the Italian national team. Franco and Capomaggi not quite synchronising there, but the Harlequins back rower with enough strength to reset the position. Bertoni. The no-look pass from Capomaggi not helping her team out. There was a red hand knocking it through in the tackle, so they'll have to put in.
Yeah, that was good intensity by the Welsh defensive line. I'm really enjoying their spacing at the moment. Left and right of the ruck, they're looking very controlled, equal spacing between players. They're not getting too sort of stifled or sucked in by the strong carriers. I know there's been an emphasis around the ruck area especially, looking to be as efficient as possible. So yes, if the ball is there for Wales, they're going to try and steal it. But if it's not, let's get bodies on feet and get into the defensive line.
Well, both teams, of course, have said pre this match that the Rugby World Cup in 18 months' time comes into play. Chris Horseman keen to press home the claims of the introduction, should I say, of new flavours, of new talents into this team. And Andrea Di Giandomenico also telling me yesterday afternoon that these new youngsters which are coming through in the Azzurri blue, also getting the chance to blood them, to find their feet on the international circus.
Yeah, it's a very, very big year for the Italians, yet to qualify for the World Cup. So actually they need to perform, you know, more so than ever in this Six Nations, because that's going to aid their world rankings, which will then affect the draws in that repertoire where they play to try and qualify for the World Cup. So important year for them.
Yeah, the Wales coaching trio there know that they're qualified, having finished 7th in Ireland in 2017. Italy have to go into that tournament in September, home and away, plus a final. It's Scotland, Ireland, Spain or Italy looking for that final ticket. The rankings come out on the 1st of July, which will decide who plays who, and of course where they play as well. The pass to Lucia Guy just floating forward. There's a knock on and Bethan Lewis scavenges on the loose ball. Wilkins had no pass on, so she puts the kick up, and Solari safe and secure under that ball. Release out to Rostuni. Lovely little offload there, in the contact from Tirani. Baratine has to reset operations, but Italy, you get the feeling, just building up a bit of confidence in their attacking play.
Yeah, you feel like they're just trying to build that momentum. They're not sort of using the backs too much, trying to set themselves a platform, but at the moment they're not managing to suck in the Welsh defence with their carries. They might want to look at just tipping it on, you know, one more pass before they make that contact. Change the point of contact in the defensive line for Wales.
Alex Callender just couldn't resist there. Referee hadn't called it out. She thought it was. Referee didn't. There's only one winner there.
We see there the ball at the back of the foot. It really needs to be clear of that back foot, and I think it was just in the process. So fine margins there, Alex
Long
Callender.
Stud's doing the job there,
yeah,
I think.
Absolutely.
Alex Callender, who made her first start here against England last season, made her debut against France previous to that. Like many of these Welsh girls playing for English clubs in the Tyrrell's Premier, 15 of the 23 this afternoon are playing in English colours during the regular season, shall we say.
Yeah, and Alex Callender, you know, she had a good Six Nations last year, but I really felt she came into her home in the Autumn International, specifically second half of the Barbarians game. She was everywhere. She was doing the dog work on the ground in the rucks, but equally she was popping up in the back line, made some really good runs. Really exciting young player.
And that balance of the trio at the back is so critical. Siwan Lillicrap, the focus of it, but Bethan Lewis and Alex Callender are able lieutenants riding shotgun there.
Yeah, and Bethan Lewis, such a workhorse. She will keep going and keep going. One of the top tacklers of the Six Nations last year. So, like you say, real good balance then with Siwan Lillicrap at 8. Really strong, powerful carrier as well.
Talking of powerful carriers, Giada Franco working her way through, but the ball certainly spurts out into Welsh control. Pearce sets things up, but no sooner have I said that than it's out the other side. And here come Italy again. Giordana Duca. Rigoni with that little tap on. She was practicing those in the warm-up. But the pressure coming through from Lisa Newman, just enough to put her off. Going back for the earlier call. Of course, other games going on in round 1 of this year's Six Nations. Ireland playing at the same time at Donnybrook, leading the Scots 13-0. And out in Po, well, England just holding off their hosts 12 points to 10 as they work their way up towards half-time. That game kicking off at 12:30 UK time.
Interesting now to see what the Italians are going to do here in attack. They've split their back line, centre field scrum, attacks left and right.
But the Welsh pack are really not going to give them many options, if any. That's the power of the red numbers 1 to 8.
That is fantastic. And as I mentioned before, with a completely new front row, that is a real confidence booster. Last year, the scrum was always solid. It was more their line-out that actually needed a bit of improvement. But now it's so good to see with a complete change of front row, they're still solid and consistent.
I think it's fair to say when you look at the team sheets that they're not the biggest of packs in this tournament. You look at the French pack, the English pack, but they have a dynamic to them. Both teams are similar in that respect.
Tight head.
Yeah, absolutely. The Italians have always had a pretty solid platform, but where I think we potentially could see the change here, or the difference between the scrums, is the fitness of the Welsh team. I know that's something that they've really been working hard on, so being able to stay consistent with their scrummaging throughout the game. It'll be interesting to see if Italy can match that.
Outside, it's not strict.
Difficult throws for the hookers, and Kelsey Jones' dart just spearing off there.
What would you like? Scrum? No worries.
Jones still only 22 years of age, so plenty of international rugby ahead of her. Played tight head during the autumn as well, I'm told, so has that flexibility that the women's game is renowned for.
Yeah, I think you have to have that. You almost need to be able to turn your hand to 2 or 3 positions when you're playing the more modern day rugby, and especially the way that Wales want to play, where they want to have forwards popping up on the wing or centre field. You need to be putting yourself around the park.
Again, that Welsh pack turning the screw on their counterparts. Lillicrap keeping the ball at her feet and waiting for that whistle. And look at the celebrations there, rightfully so. That's 2 feathers in the cap in very close proximity.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, the Italian pack here is pretty much the same from last year, so it's a well-established, especially the Italian front row. Probably the most amount of caps will be found in that position, so really Wales are doing very well to get such an upper hand on them.
Yeah, the Italians have plenty of experience in numbers 1 to 8, that's for sure. But at the moment, just not helping
Thank you very much.
with their technique against the Welsh pack. And the line-out again not working, and again it's Jada Franco who feasts on the scraps. Look at the power of the youngster. That's what's excited the Harlequins fans this season. Indeed, when she came on the scene 2 years ago, she won player of the match over in the next door neighbour's garden over at the Principality. Lovely burst, and Italy really working their way hard into the 22. Now, can they execute? They've been here before, but not found that final killer pass. Bertoni looking for the angled run. Baratin looks to the short side. Again, Solari involved. So close. Guy. These front rowers love to get ball in hand. Fedrighi rebuffed, sent backwards by Lillicrap. Good firm work from the new Welsh skip. Rigoni trying herself.
Okay, Lee,
This game
hands up,
moving into
hands
the
up.
second quarter of the match. And a big opportunity for the Italians. Tirani trying to skip out of the tackle. The team keeping that ball moving into double figures of phases. The Welsh defence under duress.
No, out, Red.
Italy press and
No,
press
short,
again.
out.
Almost, but not quite.
On the line,
Where's
stay.
the ball? Next up, now it moves out, Rigoni. Quick hands from Solari. Oh, Capomaggi couldn't get the ball away. Magatti has to reboot the attack.
Knock on advantage. No, leave it,
Great
leave
Welsh
it,
defence doing its job, but still facing this Italian onslaught at the beginning of the second quarter. Bertoni hook and nose her way to the try line, always a threat from these sort of positions. Baratin goes herself.
Okay,
Sarah
tackle out.
Barratine pulled up short. Again, Wales
Who's here?
keeping their position, keeping their discipline, but now it goes. The try is there. Italy get their first try of the campaign, and it's come from the hooker, Melissa Bertoni, with her 8th try for the national cause.
Well, you have to say, Italy have been fighting to get into this game, but as soon as they have got that bit of momentum, that is what you see from them. Such strong ball carriers, and I think Beatrice Cambonaggi will be very thankful that Italy came away with a score then, because she should have passed that ball earlier. It was good defence by Kaylee Powell. We just here see the dart initially from Sarah Barratine. She's so threatening around that ruck area.
Tom off. Oh, sorry, I've got a check on my ear. So TMO.
Well, we're going to TMO. Sarah Cox has been alerted by television match official David Grassoff.
Yeah.
Let's
You
have a
go to the
listen.
side of the pitch or the big screen?
The big screen's back on, mate, so I'm going to go to that.
Brilliant, okay.
Yeah, no worries. I've got check, okay, TMO.
So what I'm going to show you is the blue 10 in front of the ball carrier obstructing a Welsh tackler.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
So, did Rigoni get herself into the wrong place? There she is with the yellow cap. Ooh, that's not stopped the tackle, has it?
And we have another angle for you.
Okay, no worries.
Those are the two best
Interesting.
angles
So
we've
they're
got
looking
you,
for
Sarah.
obstruction there.
Right,
One of the
okay, so it's
mitigating
quite clear that
circumstances
10
around
is
it
in front
is
of
whether
the
the
ball
player
carrier
changes
and
their
then
line, and she
takes
doesn't.
out one of the Welsh defence. So you're saying no try, and then we'll go back for a penalty on the 5 metre line, yeah?
Agreed.
Okay, fine, no worries.
Oh, interesting.
Well,
Okay.
because Barratine had gone to the right and
No
not to
try?
the left, I couldn't see that the tackler was being stopped. Your take?
I think that is a bit of a tight call, I must be honest. As I mentioned, the player who caused the obstruction didn't change her line of run, made initial contact, but Cerys Hale was able to get back into the game. So, I don't know, a bit of a tricky one, that one. That's why I'm not a ref.
Yeah, I must admit that slightly surprised me with the way that Barratine moved towards the line, and I don't think that Cerys Hale would have been able to get a tackle in any case. Anyway, it's been disallowed, and Robin Wilkins thankfully hoofs the ball out of the 22.
Well, Wales need to take that as a real warning shot. That is what Italy can do when they get a bit of momentum into this game. Wales need to be a bit more control with their possession. It's fleeting back and forth a little bit too quickly at the moment.
If anything, I know there's no points on the board for Italy, but it shows their confidence in the way that they're getting through the phases and stitching things together. Perhaps that is an offshoot of last year's tournament.
Yes, and I think that off the back of that, they went into a bit of a disappointing autumn series. So I think Italy are really looking to get back into those ways that we saw last Six Nations, which for Italy is all about possession and momentum. They're not going to just get the ball, turn it over and score. They need to build into it.
Bevan's left-handed pass just not able to find the target and ceding possession.
There you go.
Kira Bevan only took up rugby 6 years ago, so still a relative rookie.
Oh, look at that for a momentum change. It was 80% within the first 10 minutes of possession to Wales. It's now completely flipped over to Italy. And this is where the game could change here. Wales need to cut out those little unforced errors that are giving away the possession, because Italy will build and they will turn it into points.
Quarter of an hour to go in this first half. Rigoni out to Solari. Ostuni coming round on the outside to be the conduit. Sofia Stefan with no way through, but staying strong. And once again, the Italians are in the opposition 22. Giada Franco.
Wait here, wait.
There's Bertoni. She will be
back,
fired
back.
up, to say the least, having had that try disallowed. more of a mannered approach from the Italian
Okay,
attack
Red, tackle and move. Don't
on
pin
this
her in.
occasion.
Let the ball come. Let the ball come. No. Just be careful. You can't lie on top of her and pin her in there, and you can't be there. So we're going for a scrum because no one could get out, okay? Yes.
That's a clear explanation right there, isn't it?
Couldn't ask for more.
Exactly. It's fantastic when you hear refs being that clear, telling everybody involved why, what, when, how it was wrong.
Yep, the 29-year-old Devonian laying it out. One of the most experienced referees now on the whistle. No, she's had her own fitness issues recently.
Yeah, she unfortunately suffered a bit of an ankle injury just before a leg to the HSBC World 7 Series, where she was going to be out in Cape Town and Dubai.
That's a trip you don't want to miss.
No, I know, exactly.
Especially in December.
Yeah.
Well, everybody keeping tabs on the other scores, no doubt. Of course, in Po, they're already in half-time with England leading 12 points to 10. Out there, Le Crunch, well, it's maybe the biggest game of this tournament first up.
I think there's some interesting matches all over the place. I mean, Ireland and Scotland did not have the Six Nations last year. They're going to be looking to compete together.
See, they start them with gum shields very early.
Awesome.
Crouch.
Right, big opportunity for the visitors now.
Set. Steady.
Spread out to the right, but looking at that short side, Barrettine. Pull down, good, diligent defence there. I think Kira Bevan took her opposite number down on that occasion and get the call. And that is a big swing.
What a point to make your mark there. Fantastic work by the Welsh back row. Oh, and trying to go quickly.
Take a quick tap. You can't do it behind me and off the mark, okay? So you've got to be here.
Again, clear and concise. Needs to be in front of the referee if you're going to take a quick tap like that. Right idea, though. I think Italy were looking very frustrated. Backs had been turned. Robin Wilkins acknowledged that and wanted to go quickly. Unfortunately, not from the right mark.
Special day for the fly-half Wilkins. Exactly 6 years ago to the day she made her debut in this game in the first round of the Six Nations. I'm feeling that was Port Talbot or somewhere. It certainly wasn't here, but
no, probably Aberavon.
Okay.
Yeah.
But has been pretty much a regular ever since.
Really starting to develop in her kicking game as well, which is really exciting to see. We already saw in the first sort of 10-15 minutes a couple of high balls trying to get it out to the wing, up and unders. It'd be a great option to just vary their attack if she can really get more confident with that.
Bevan affecting the clearance. Of course, no Eleanor Snowsill at the moment. She's injured, but I'm told will be back shortly.
Yeah, spoke to Eleanor in the week. She had a bit of a nasty injury to her hip when she was playing for her club, for Bristol. So she is on the mend, slowly but surely, hoping to get back into the campaign. But she's doing a bit of work behind the scenes. She's helping with reviewing the games, doing analysis, so still very much contributing to the team.
Successful line out from Italy and the little pop layoff from Rigoni. She does have the full box of tricks.
Don't play on the floor.
The Italian 10, but the turnover is there. I think that's Calendar again. Wilkins has pressure on the kick and plenty of time for Ostuni. Well, Ostuni, like many of the others, comes through the under-18s and 7s, so Andrea Di Giandomenico has coached them earlier through their careers, knows them well. Half an hour gone, just that solitary score in this game so far. Is it Lecce 2? Mark 2, I should say. Of course, last year's game, a 3-3 draw. And now Wales trying to build from their own 22. Hannah Jones getting penalised though for holding on.
That's such a shame. She had such a great run there, darting through, stepped 2 or 3 players. Potentially, there could have been a few more Welsh bodies over there trying to help her out. She tried to buy a bit of time, unfortunately got penalised for holding on.
And some of the Italian replacement bench just making sure they have a warm-up. Gerald Davis just asking them to move to make sure it don't obstruct his view with his misses. Good to see him here, one of the Wales greats, of course, one of the world greats. So, Italy go into the Wales 22 once again. Good throw from Bertoni. Forwards rally round the ball and get the drive on. Linda Krapp doing her best to stall things, but Italy go again. Presentation is not precise, but the ball's still there. Giordano. Forwards are there. Rigoni puts it out into the back line though. The offload is there for Magatti. Magatti's turned turtle. Whoa, that is terrific defence if that is not a try. Beth Lewis getting in to help Hannah Jones. Have they done the job?
That was a fantastic scramble there, going through the... Everyone just screaming it towards the bottom corner, but a bit of frustration that it got to that point. You could see the Welsh back line just drifting quite laterally rather than coming up and really putting pressure.
I'm just going to make sure that she's okay first.
And we are just checking now on Kelsey Jones there. Sorry, Kaylee Powell, the fullback.
Yeah, I'm going to...
She took a bit of a heavy collision.
I've not seen anything. Okay, David.
Let's just take a look at what happened there. It was all a little bit frenetic.
Grounding on that one. I've got on-field no try held up, but I want to double check with you, please, okay?
Okay, we're checking for grounding.
So the
The
officials
decision is no try.
trying to
Yeah, I've got held
confirm Sarah Cox's on-field decision of held up. Unfortunately, the big screen here at Cardiff Arms Park up the other end of the field. Here we go. There's the hit on Kaylee Powell.
What a fantastic tackle there by Hannah Jones. Just on the edge, you know, she's not too high. She gets around the top half of the player, wraps up the ball, and then uses her momentum to flip the player onto her. So turtling her. Unfortunately, Kaylee Powell does just make a collision head to head. Potentially, she'll be going off now for a HIA.
Sarah, that's all the angles we have. No, I have one more angle. Hang on.
I had one more in the background, no worries.
Just when you thought you'd seen it all, here's another angle. Just short there.
That's pretty definitive.
Yeah.
In the wrong place or wrong angle
The ball
for
is clearly
Italian
not
perspective.
grounded.
Yep.
So stay with your on-field decision, please.
No try held up, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, fine.
So, credit to Sarah Cox, got it right first time.
Yep, fantastic, and always good to check for clarity.
For the second and third time, Italy have been so close and yet so far. Kaylee Powell, thankfully, looks like she can take her place once again.
It'll be interesting now to see the mindset of these players. Are Italy going to be going in feeling, oh, we just can't do anything right, you know, is our luck against us, which can be a very negative form to go into. Or equally, are Wales going to feel scared by this? This is potentially 2-3 tries now that could have been on the board. Let's just hope the Wales keep their composure, but equally, Italy stay believing that they can get across, and they will get across if they just keep doing what they're doing. So it's working well at the moment.
Crouch.
Kaylee Powell fit, but Paige Randall not going to get her first taste of Six Nations yet. Certain to come, no doubt. And the rest of this match, Barrettine gets the runner. Rigoni goes straight from A to B. Wilkins sticking to her task. Forwards coming around the corner. Jada Franco.
Hands up, Reds.
Sent back by Linda Krapp, but here comes Bertoni. She was stopped once, she's not going to be stopped again. And Italy do get the try before half-time that they crave.
You could feel it coming, couldn't you? But Italy just slightly changing their point of attack, going just one out carriers, so staying away from the forwards, trying to involve the backs, and they were just gaining a metre. And eventually there is only so long you can defend on your try line against short runners like that, short, powerful, direct runners. You see the link on there as well. Prop and hooker powering over. Melissa Bertoni was not going to lose her chance to score second time round.
Bertoni's try disallowed 10 minutes ago through no fault of her own. She made sure that that one was going to count. And it looks to me like Kaylee Powell is going to have to leave the field, and Paige Randall will get on into a Six Nations match. First though, Michaela Solari. Solari swings it over, but doesn't hit the target. There's Kaylee Powell just going to go and have an HIA check on that earlier hit. Well, we shall wait to see maybe into the second half as to whether that's a permanent change. But for now, Paige Randall, the Cardiff Blues winger, is going to get her first taste of what this tournament is about, as this youngster already has had Vicky Ostuni. Now there's only 2 points between these two teams with 5 minutes left of the first half, but the feel is a real change of mentality going on after that try.
Yeah, I think this is really where Wales have to, you're looking to the likes of Siwan Lillicrap to really rein the team in and almost wipe that, forget that, get back into what they started the game. The first 20 minutes, much more positive from Wales. You have to say momentum is with Italy at the moment.
Wilkins trying to open the door for Jazz Joyce on that right flank, but came to nothing in the end. Rigoni has taken a hit and is down, but Wilkins would love to have a position to change that scoreboard before they hit the hutches.
Just after a drink, if that's all right. So I'll get out of the way of those guys.
Well, it's out in France, and Poe, it's still 12-10 to England, though I note Sarah Byrne, who scored a fantastic try here, or 2 tries I seem to remember in last year's encounter here at Cardiff Arms Park, has had a try disallowed. So front rowers will feel distinctly hard done by so far. Siwan Lillicrap, to the manner born as a captain, head of rugby at Swansea University, a real leader in herself, in her character and personality, an obvious fit.
Yes, and what I like even more than that is how long it took for her to break into the Welsh squad. How many years she just fought away, stayed humble, kept improving, and finally when she did break through has just been such an impact player for Wales, such a strong carrier, a composed, mature, cool, calm head, a really, really good player. And I really do think the best is yet to come from Siwan Lillicrap.
And of course, you think back 12 months, she got the player of the match in that 3-3 draw in Lecce.
Yeah, and this game is starting to feel a little bit reminiscent. It was just a constant tussle for momentum. Neither team could really get their grip on the game. Wales had an unbelievable defensive effort against Italy in the last sort of 20 minutes to keep that draw, but they wanted to learn from that you have to take your chances when you have possession.
Just trying to gauge this breeze, and I think at the moment it's coming from behind the Italians. So it's something that Wales may be able to use in the second half. Calendar finding no way through there, and there's a turnover there, is there? No, ball is still there for those in red.
It's your ball, it's there.
Bevan out to Crowd, lovely little offload to Keris Hale. Mentioning that England game, of course, Hale it was who scored the second try in that match. Working her way through is Hannah Jones. Hannah Jones drives for the line. And that is a huge try for the hosts. 3 minutes to go until the turnaround. And Wales force their noses back in front. And that is a terrific score from Hannah Jones.
3 minutes before the half-time, that's exactly when you need to come back and score like that. And what a well-worked try. Plenty of bodies there. You see this work rate in attack now. They're giving options to the passer. Picked out Hannah Jones, but she still had work to do here. Puts in that little dummy, that little show and go. Fends one, steps another, and not even Giada Franco, the big powerhouse flanker for Italy, could stop her that close from the try line.
Such confidence, and we talk about the sevens that they've been involved in the last 3 months in Australia. Perhaps you could see a bit of that clinical finishing coming through Hannah Jones there.
Absolutely. I think with sevens, when you make that break, when you make that bust, you have to go. You have to be convicted in your run. And I think that's what you're seeing there with Hannah Jones. But equally, she's just got those lovely soft skill set of passing. She can quite calmly offer that little dummy. You never quite know where she's going to go with the ball. Ball in two hands at all time, a real threat. Interesting now. How much will this change the momentum?
That is a cracking conversion from Wilkins, taking her team into double figures and putting the smile back on the face of the Welsh fans. A huge moment there in this game before half-time.
Yeah, really interesting, isn't it? So we're seeing the Italians going back to a little bit of the Italians are those strong carries, one-out runners, getting a bit of success there. We're not seeing the counter-attacking, free-flowing backs that we have seen before, but it's so good to see when Wales do get that bit of possession. They have got those individuals with that bit of X factor that can just break through. But I really do think the team that's going to win this game are simply the team that are going to have the most possession. So that's going to be the battle now in the second half.
Well, points mean prizes in more senses of the word than one, and when you've got a kicker like Robin Wilkins with that accuracy off the tee, there's only Emily Scarrett and Jessie Tremoulier last season who were more accurate given those opportunities, and that lady there is so critical to the Welsh cause again this season. Natalia John, the Swansea second row, doing some of the hard yards.
Okay, off feet now, Blue, leave it. Let the ball come. Good.
Final minute of this first half. And from a Welsh perspective, that turnaround has got to be maintained before they head off. Just trying to be methodical and clinical with their handling. As soon as I say that, it's stripped. Is this going to give Italy a last chance to have a say on that scoreboard? Federighi sets it back for her scrum half. Franco in as the first receiver. A little bit of indecision in her mind. Well, we've had plenty of swings towards the end of this first half. Philippa, Wales now surely have to just to get the ball off the park and into those changing rooms, don't they?
That's what you'd think, but no, they're going to go for one last ditch of attack. They're just trying desperately to get Jasmine Joyce's hands on the ball, but that kick needed to be higher, it needed more airtime.
Well, Wilkins trying to open things up. Here we go with Randall. Lewis the conduit. Out to Newman. Up to halfway go Wales. The clock is in the red. Lillicrap making some headway on this near side. Wales continuing to play. Crabb having to work hard to set that ball back. Wilkins trying to threaten the on-rushing defenders. Bertoni trying to affect the turnover and getting the call. Well, Wales, to their credit, still trying to play, but is it foolhardy?
I think that for that moment then, they could feel that the opportunities they had to get into the game, to actually capitalise their momentum, were few and far between in that first half. So right then, their tails were up, they were feeling confident. I backed them to go for it.
Well, that's enough. And at half-time, it really has been a tight contest, as we thought. Bertoni's try forcing the Italians into the lead after Wilkins' initial penalty, but then that try from Hannah Jones just 3 minutes before the break, boosting the home team. The Wilkins conversion taking them to 10, and at half-time it's a tight game as we expected, but it's Wales with their noses in front, 10 points to 5.
Italy.
Welcome back to Cardiff Arms Park, where, as you would expect between these two, it's a tight, tense tussle. It was a first half that really increased in intensity towards that half-time whistle, with some big scores coming in from both sides that changed the feel and the mood in both camps. That vital score from Hannah Jones 3 minutes before the turnaround, really boosting the home fans and the Italian fans. We've had a couple of changes in the half-time. The confirmation that Kayleigh Powell has failed an HIA means that Paige Randall will stay on as fullback for Wales, and for Italy, Giordana Duca being replaced by Sara Tunesi. So 5 points between these two at the turnaround. A big 40 ahead. They will both feel confident from those tries that they marked towards the end of that first half. Philippa Touchett, former Wales captain, alongside me. How do you see the psychological balance of this game going, bearing in mind the last 5-10 minutes of that first half?
Oh, it's been so interesting, hasn't it? Because yes, as you mentioned there, Wales coming back with a really strong performance there to go into the half on top, and then Italy potentially feeling slightly aggrieved with those disallowed tries. So it's really who is going to come in with the most positive start to this part of the second half. Could really make an impact and really start pulling away.
And the leadership of Siwan Lillicrap will be key as well, making sure that her team are playing in the right areas. It is something that the coaches were aware of, the transition from zone to zone, speeding things up, getting themselves out of danger areas, not necessarily kicking the ball away, and that's a feature of the women's game that we've known and loved over recent years, that they don't tend to kick the ball away, but they've got to make sure the presentation is right, and Gwen Crabb being pinged there for holding on too long.
Yeah, you could see that from the initial collision, couldn't you? There was 2 Italian players on her, just managed to hold her up for that split second, which meant that they were fully in control of that tackle to the ground. So it's very difficult for Gwen Crabb to be able to place the ball. We see here they're sort of getting manhandled to the ground there, puts the Italian in the best possible position to get over that ball.
Again, that lady, Melissa Bertoni, the Ren hooker, one of the leaders in this Italian team. Played at tight head in the Rugby World Cup 2017, but normally known as a hooker.
Yeah, no worries. We've got one off the top from the line.
Now, we had a discussion at half-time about which way we thought the wind was going, because
Yes.
as I said earlier on, it was a blustery day, albeit a dry one, thankfully, but it's very difficult to gauge, and I'm looking around, there's no flags.
No, I know, so there's nothing to give us sort of an indication, is there? But I think there is definitely a wind, and even if it is just a swirling wind, that's a nightmare when you're a fullback. If the ball goes up high enough, it's really difficult to predict which way it's going to fall, and that could be potentially a way that either Wales or Italy could choose to try and open up this game by testing the fullbacks, which now, with Paige Randall on for Wales, both fullbacks for both teams are new and slightly inexperienced.
It's not handy for hookers either, as we've
Very
already
true.
seen. Wales getting the call at the scrum, and the Wales pack seemed to get a little bit of domination in the latter areas of that first half, and continuing it after the break. Well, it is palindrome day today.
Yes.
With the date going forwards as well as backwards, is this match going to live up to that billing?
Well,
Interesting to see.
Very interesting. As you've mentioned before, you know, you go back through the history books and it's been such a tight encounter between these two teams. There's usually very little in it. And as you mentioned, a 3-3 draw last year. So I think both teams would really like to break that sort of tradition, if you will, and for one of them to be able to run away with a convincing win, to really set themselves up for the start of the Six Nations.
Yeah.
Talking about running away, who knows, it may be Jazz Joyce. Scored the worldie what wasn't last year.
Oh gosh, that was such a good non-try. It was a fantastic bit of skill set. Eleanor Snowsill with a blind little tip-on pass. Jasmine Joyce still had about 4 or 5 players to beat, but unfortunately the pass to her was deemed forward. So it was the try that never was.
Crouch.
Well, we've already seen a try from each side in the first half, and I have a feeling we're going to see more in this second, because both teams seem to be building the confidence in attack, the belief that what they've put into practice on the training paddock can come to fruition on the playing pitch. Estuni, the young fullback, trying to feed out to Stefan. Good pick up from the Valsugana winger. One of 7 Valsugana players in this national team. Lovely little layoff. There's the replacement. The ball, though, going forward from Sarah Tunesi. Her first real impact on this match, and she thought she was in there apologising to her mates. Lovely awareness, though, from Franco.
Yeah, exactly. That is the point I was just about to make. You know, Franco, we haven't really seen her as much as we're used to seeing her. You can find that, though. A player comes onto the scene, 2018, no one knew who she was, so she was popping up all over the place, sort of honing in her craft then 2019, but now you just hope that there's not too much pressure being put on her shoulders to sort of carry the Italian team.
But is that intelligent play, therefore? She knows she's getting the attention, therefore there's got to be gaps for teammates, and we've seen that once, twice already in this game.
Well, yeah, that could be actually right. Perfect example there. All eyes are on her, so she just fades out and then tips a lovely little soft pass back inside. It's a good point.
Rugby intelligence coming to the fore under the Harlequins' tuition of Gary Street and Karen Findlay. That's why she's come over to England to increase her rugby knowledge, no doubt. Repeating the trip of Manuela Furlan, Michaela Solari, they all played in Harlequins colours at some time. Wales having to really do some hard graft to get out the 22 calendar at the forefront. Crabb has really made herself a pivotal part of this Wales scrum, especially in the absence of Mel Clay.
Yes, but for, you know, exciting reasons for Mel Clay, because she is actually pregnant. So I want to send all the best wishes to her.
Wilkins just getting in there ahead of Magatti. I think the officials will check this, but my instantaneous reaction was that the fly-off was first on the spot.
Check the ground.
Let's just have a look here.
Ooh. That is tight, but my feeling echoes yours. I think Robin Wilkins just got there. Fantastic charge down, though, by the Italians.
On field, I think the Welsh girl has got
I think there was a touch from Wilkins' hand just before, in any case.
Roll that. I think Wales, Red have grounded it first.
And there you see the Wales 10.
Yeah, grounded by Wales.
Okay, no,
It's going to be a 5-metre scrum to the Italians.
Blue, yeah, so we'll start with the 22 dropout. You okay?
Ooh.
Is that right, David?
Well, I thought I saw
Yeah,
a
no,
fingertip from Wilkins on that ball going back, but I think
Okay.
Wales may...
Yeah. David, just confirm it's a 22 dropout, yeah?
In place, no try.
It's grounded by the Welsh. Come on.
Wales are going to get the 22 restart.
Now this is where we may see that wind playing a
We all
factor.
need to be behind
Is
her.
Robin
We
Wilkins
all
going
need
to
to
go
be
high,
behind.
test one of the players into the high ball, or is she going to go for a long drive?
Neither is the answer to that.
No, that was option C. How about that option?
Well, it's going to come straight back through Tunisi. The second row replacement really making an impact on this game, Rigoni. Stefan having to work her way back through the heavy traffic. Bertoni with a little layoff to Fedrighi. It has been a feature of the Italian attack These little offloads, being aware of the runners on their shoulders, trying to catch out the fringe defenders. Tirani. Baratine gets the call. See the Italians amassing left and right, ready for options for their scrum half. There's Franco again. Good work from Lillicrap.
Off feet.
Again, they come round the corner with intent. A big moment for Italy. The captain can't get the ball out though. Her head's over the line, but the ball isn't. Bertoni tries to add to her tally. But that is great defence from the home side.
Again, it is good defence, but equally they shouldn't be getting themselves into that position. The Italians are carrying really strong and they're not looking to play it out wide. So I'd actually like to see the message coming onto the defensive line to tighten up. Don't worry so much about the fringe players out wide and put a bit more emphasis on that initial rush up into the ball carriers and try and stop them at source. So the moment the Italians are just getting half a metre, before you know it, they're on the try line.
Manon Johns into the fray, into that back row mix.
Another exciting young player coming through. Absolutely mental in the tackle. Does not one of those players that doesn't know the definition between training.
Is this a Lewis Moody term?
Oh my days! You do not want to hold a tackle pad for that girl. She hits so hard. One of those players you want on your team, on your side. Thankfully, never played against her.
Manon Johns on my side. Siwan Lillicrap happy that she's on her side. I'm trying to make a difference in the next half an hour or so. There, that tackle count, I mean, that is huge, almost double from a Welsh perspective. Is that going to play into the mix in that final quarter?
Well, it's certainly going to be sapping their energy, isn't it? It's much harder to be making those collisions than actually carrying the ball into them. But that's testament of the style of play that Italy are playing at the moment. They're not looking to move the ball out wide, you know, long passes. The passes are short and it's contact, short contact, short contact. So really, if Italy want to try and get into this game, they need to break that mould. But as I mentioned, Wales need to tighten up in D and stop those short contacts at source.
Giordano taken down by Bethan Lewis. Ball still there though for the Italians. Slow presentation allows Wales to get back into position. Now Italy try and open it up. Solari weaves away through. Quick presentation allows the forwards to get into position. Giordano again. Franco. How many times have we seen this from Giada Franco?
Leave it right. Let the ball
Again, Italy not going too wide, looking for that thrust close up. Here's another pot of Italians, and again, they are not going to be stopped. I think the call is going to go to Sara Tunisi. That's the biggest smile that you're going to see at the Cardiff Arms Park this afternoon.
It's the Italian power game that's really getting them into this. Just those series of short but effective carries. And actually, if the Italians had chosen to put the ball through the hands, there could have been some joy there as well. So we're just checking the grounding.
That was knocked out of her arms there. I'm going to say congratulations to Gwen Crabb.
Sarah, the blue player loses possession of the ball
potentially
before it's grounded.
A foot coming in from Paige Randall. If you just see there, she stretches out her foot as well.
Well spotted. Well, Paige Randall making an impact off the bench, not maybe quite as we expected.
No, but that's the impact you want to have, stopping a try like that. What is the record for the most amount of disallowed tries in a Women's Six Nations game?
We shall have to look through the internet, no doubt, to find out, because Italy will feel hard done by, but that lady there has just stopped another one. The student nurse doing a job for the national team.
Bind. Set.
So 10 minutes gone in this second half, and relief all round from those waving red flags and wearing red shirts, because they've been under the cosh since the break. No question about that.
Okay, use the ball.
It is a relief, but it's not a huge relief, and it's going to come back in the face of Kira Bevan and co. fairly shortly, you would think.
Yeah, that's potentially where we're seeing the effects of this wind that obviously is a bit difficult to predict.
Turn off. And we've got some for you guys as well, number 4. Number 4?
Well, here comes Alicia Butchers. Now, this is an interesting mix because she's on for Natalia John, which presumably you would expect Siwan Lilliquat to move up into the boiler room, maybe. Who else would play second row?
Yeah, potentially. I think that's what will happen. Seeing as this game at the moment is a bit more about open play, it's not really, about the scrums anymore. We don't need that big powerhouse picking. What we need is urgency in defence. Wales need to get up tight and stop the Italians' short runners at source. And someone like Alicia Butchers, you've basically got a series of sevens on the pitch now in the back row.
Scavengers all.
Yep, scavengers and dagglers.
Bertoni throws long, but that's a big call. Well, she sits, she's talking to the touch judge on this near side going, well, you sure? It was the arm came out and went, maybe. Half an hour to go in this game, and Melissa Bertoni, once again, a big figure in this contest. Scored a try against France last year in that big finish that the Azzurri had. Got them that second spot and the bonus point. It's important to look back. I think they got 3 try bonus points last year, and that really highlighted the surge in confidence that they felt in the ranks.
Yeah, and I think that they are just potentially suffering from the change of personnel in the backs at the moment. You can't underestimate the impact of Mambala Falan at fullback, and also the fact they've had to reshuffle the centre partnership.
Not straight again.
That's potentially why we're not seeing the Italians throw the ball out wide as much as we're used to.
Not straight at the scrum, allows Wales to run out of their 22. Randall walks into a blue cul-de-sac. Still her team keeping the ball in hand, looking for that jink
Leave.
that might find the gap, the opportunity to get further away from the danger area. Gwen Crabb. Lewis. Lost the ball. Ethan Lewis just not looking after the pill on that occasion.
And I think where you mentioned before that the coaches have really made an emphasis on not playing in the wrong areas, right then that was playing in the wrong areas, that someone should have put the ball to boot, because actually as you're looking at the pitch to the right hand side, bottom right corner, there was no one fielding there for the Italian back 3, so potentially a long driving kick to let it run out could have put them in a better position to defend out of there, because as we've seen with Italy, they are playing this short half a yard gain on their power runners. So if that's all they've got at the moment, we'll then give them the possession, kick it away, but put it down the other end of the field, because they're not going to score tries from that position with that type of attack.
Great to see so many youngsters here. Lots of the young girls here are part of the Welsh campaign, the programme to get them into Welsh hubs around the country, giving them the opportunity to play the game possibly for the first time. I think they start in March when the weather gets a bit better, so great to see that sort of promotion of women's rugby around the country. Right, Stefan stepping in as scrum half, now pulling out as Baratine feeds up. Miss 1, miss 2, miss everybody.
Now leave Red, no, you got past the ball.
Italy have to go from further back, but Giada Franco winds things up once again. Baratine with the spot. Baratine against Randall. Goes past her. Oh, great pull down there. But the try is there for Italy. Baratine, it was who made the headway and set up the position. And in the end, it was Maria Magatti supporting her scrum half, who finishes things off and ties the scoreboard.
Sarah Barrettine, she is such an impact player, and the great thing about her is she can go a whole half and you don't really notice her. She just does the basics well, but she will always have this in her footlocker. She's got that X factor. She'll bring it out when she needs to. Amazing chase back there by Jasmine Joyce, but fair play to the Italians. They flooded after her. They're all supporting her, and it's because they did that. You see now she goes to ground. Look at the bodies coming in, cleared them out, and an extra body there to be able to score the try as well.
The Welsh 14 with the try-saving tackle, but the Italian 14 there in the right place at the right time, taking her try-scoring tally for her country into double figures. What a big 5-pointer that is. It'll be even bigger if they can make it a 7. Solari finds the right club, and the Italians with their noses in front.
That is a really big score, because I think if they'd have scored it through the forwards, that would have obviously been points. That's great, but scoring it in the way they just did through their backs is going to lift their backs. I think the forwards are already feeling pretty confident. We haven't seen much of the backs being able to get into the game, but this now is going to really lift them. What a player.
Well, Barrettine, we've seen her play mostly in the 9 shirt, but she's played on the wing, she's played at fullback. We know that she has that speed. Even though she's 33 years of age, she seems to have plenty of rugby left in her, earning her 92nd cap this afternoon. So with everything that's coming in the Six Nations and the World Cup qualifier, every chance that by the end of this year she may have brought up that century. Randall's handling, let her down, throws the ball away and throws it back into Italian clutches. Pedrighi leading the onslaught. Italy back on the front foot. The shouts from the stands of Italia, Italia get ever louder. Again, Wales shooting themselves in the foot by not looking after the ball, not hanging on at critical times. There again, the burst from Tunisi. The Colorno second row really has made big impact off the bench. Rigoni gets the call from Kapelmaggi. Driven on a bit.
It's a tackle, move right!
Forwards in position. The next Italian phalanx sets up. On they go though. Tackle not completed. Bertoni though going into her own player. I think there's an accidental offside that will stem that particular tide. But at the moment, since the break, it's all been about the Italians.
Yeah, the possession stats certainly reflect that as well. But they're being so impactful with the ball. They've got, you can't really say that they're earning it back. They're simply capitalising on the unforced errors that Wales are giving them. Unfortunately, there was a good field back there by Robin Wilkins, and the pass off to Paige Randall. Maybe they needed a little bit more communication, and that was compounded then with the forward pass that gave Italy the possession.
Well, inevitably, some tired, heavy bodies right now. Kelsey Jones just getting some attention, but Wales will feel really under the cosh right now. 3 minutes to go out in Pau, and it's the Red Roses leading 19 points to 13 out there. That could be a crucial match, of course, to decide who's going to lift the trophy come the end of this campaign. But Italy, with the way they're playing right now, have the belief that they can start this campaign with victory on the road.
Yeah, it's a massive win for them. An away win to start the Six Nations would be really impactful. It's taken them, you feel like it's taken them a while to get into the game. You know, they are going to need to have more in their locker than just that short carry game. But as we saw, the likes of Sarah Barrettine, she can spark something.
It's interesting talking to Andrea Di Giandomenico yesterday in their hotel, and he was talking about that Lecce game. And he said it was the most important match in their history, in that the first half they'd been under the cosh, Wales had dominated. The second half, they turned the tables, but lots of individuals. And on review, he thought there was a switch that clicked, that a lot of the girls realised how strong the team ethos was, because individuals couldn't make a difference, the team can. And
Yep.
he's seen since then, he thinks that was the turning point for the way that they
Interesting,
played.
yeah.
Butchers in at number 8, trying to release the pressure for the Welsh. The Italians trying to hem their hosts in, force that kick again from one or other of the halfbacks.
It's good. She's
Ball is there, Rigoni. Stefan finds too many people standing in the way, but again, Wales not looking after the ball.
Okay, yeah.
Bad injury forces referee Cox to
Time off.
stop things. Yes, Keris Hale, isn't it, the tight head.
He's heading that way.
Kafili Teacher taking a bad knock there.
Yes. It's just because she's down and we're going that way.
I think all players have taken their knocks in this one. I mean, the defensive effort, we've talked about it a few times in this game, it really is heroic from Wales, but it's just frustrating that they're putting themselves in that position to have to go that far with it. 171 tackles by Wales as opposed to 89 from Italy. That really says a lot about the game at the moment. But it's how long can Wales put up this fight, because this is sapping stuff. I dare say we're going to start seeing the subs rolling on now, especially in the front row.
Full-time score in from Poe, and the Red Roses have started their campaign with a win. 19-13. Shows what a tight game it was out there. This one's similarly competitive. It's that right knee jolt, isn't it? I think on the 4G. There.
Yeah, that's it. As much as, you know, this surface is great for sort of extra grip, you don't have to worry about a wet or slippy situation, but sometimes it can grip your foot in a position you don't want it to be in.
The other score today so far, Ireland leading 13-7 against the Scots at Donnybrook. That game, of course, in concurrent time to this one. Looks like Keris Hale getting back to her feet. There she is. Molly Kelly, Cara Hope and Ruth Lewis, the replacements. And for Ruth Lewis, well, this could be a big moment. Plenty of female fans supporting the game, the fastest growing game, of course, and great to see the numbers increase year on year. So, you're in the Welsh camp as a former Wales captain now. You're 2 points behind. You're going into the final quarter. What are you saying to your team?
I'm saying play in the right areas. Get out of this first half of the pitch. We know that Italy have only got a short, tight game. Push them back into their half.
Well, let's see if they adhere to it. Right now, they're under the cosh. Giordano has the ball and has the advantage. Out to Stefan. Stefan's through, and Italy have got their third try. Well worked. The execution is there for the Azzurri, and look at the elation in the camp.
Great solid scrum there, and you know that Wales would have given that absolutely everything to try and disrupt that. But it was a solid platform for them to play off. The great initial pick up there by the Italian back row. Look at that, it's solid, isn't it? She's got all the time in the world to just balance it at her feet. And when she chooses the right time, she goes and she gets that offload away in the tackle for the wing.
Not an easy finish either from Sofia Stefan. Used to it, of course, a couple of tries last year. That her 14th try for her country, so she's used to having to provide that finishing touch. That's a good finish.
Really good. And unfortunately, we do just see Beth Lewis having a little hobble back to her feet there. I think she caught her knee in the collision, but looks to be up and about. So that'll be a relief for Wales.
Solari with the conversion, swings it over. and grazes the left-hand upright, but takes the target. And Italy take a 2-score lead. Elation in the faces of the Italian supporters.
19-10 going into the last part of the game now. That could be the platform for the Italians to run away from it.
Georgia Evans on replacing, I think, Beth Lewis just hobbling off there. There you see her, the former GB surfer, just struggling there. The mistake there from Turani, not helping her team. But I think there we have the answer to which way the wind's going, because that held up and the loose head couldn't get her feet underneath the ball.
Yeah, that's what we mentioned earlier, wasn't it? Try and get that ball up high, because it will swirl in this wind, which makes it really difficult to get your hands under. Something that potentially Robin Wilkins, if she just clocked that, she might think about implementing that a little bit more, testing the Italian back three in that way.
Binds. Set.
There's a unique attacking setup. They're going to swing to the right. Heavy load on this right flank. Jazz Joyce.
Tackle! Tackle! Good.
Sets the ball down for Bevan to feed. A voracious pack of forwards led by Lillicrap. She knows her team have to get the next score on the board to keep themselves in contention. Lake. Italy stretching their defensive line out. Johns finds no way through, and Wales forced just outside the 22. Oh, Italy not holding on to their discipline. Lucia Guy being pinged.
She's got it in her hands. It's here.
9 penalties in total now. We saw a few of them, didn't we? In the first sort of 20 minutes, I think, when Wales did have that initial possession, Italy were panicking a little bit and giving away some penalties. Potentially now, this is the first time we've seen Wales putting them back under that pressure, and you're seeing then those just moments of just lack of concentration
and
start
fatigue.
creeping in. And fatigue, absolutely, fatigue.
Well, a chance for Wales to work themselves back into this contest. First time they've been into the Italian 22 since half-time, I think. Can they make it count? They've got the advantage from the referee. The forwards trying to up the ante without releasing that ball. The drive edging its way towards the try line. Butchers feeds out to Wilkins. The little dab through is a kick to nothing, but it's a kick to a 5-pointer. Bevan brings it back to the forwards. Big hit from Bertoni and Lucia Guy.
Advantage is still there.
Advantage still being called for the home side. Wilkins throws it wide. Hannah Jones, scorer of that try at the end of the first half. Joyce with no way through there.
Okay, tackle! Tackle!
They work again into the arms of Georgia Evans. Again they load up on that right-hand side. Again it's a kick to nothing. Franco dots it down, but they'll go back for the earlier call.
Well, we were just talking about kicks, and now all of a sudden we're seeing them left, right and centre. As you say, it's a shot to nothing. They had the penalty advantage, so absolutely dink it through, test the Italian defence.
Right, what's the call from Lillicrap now? As there's a slight hiatus. What's the call from Lillicrap? She's got to take the line out.
Just seeing that replay of the little dink over the top. That's excellent work rate, isn't it, from Franco, the flanker, finding herself literally defending on the wing. That's the work rate that she puts into the defensive line. She just puts her body where it needs to be to get into the line.
Well, these are the 2 tries that we've seen since the break. The first set up by Barrettine, finished off by Magatti.
It's that follow-up, isn't it? That clear out. It's really good work rate by the Italians.
And then anything the right winger can do, the left winger can do just as well. The 2 Azzurri Flyers doing their jobs. get their noses in lead in front on the scoreboard. But a big moment now for Wales. Kelsey Jones, has she got the right darts? Crabb, the line-out caller, calls to herself. Jones comes in to take the ball and drives for the line! Kelsey Jones gets her first try for Wales at such an opportune moment. Wales are back in this one.
Real composure there shown by the Welsh team. You saw them all get into that huddle, discuss what is the right call for this one. And what important darts there by Kelsey Jones. Hits the person, little step, and she is driving herself forward over that line. So important at this point of the game. Look at that pinpoint accuracy with the line out. Peels away, very clever. She knows where the space is, puts that dummy in and goes herself.
A big, big score in this contest. There's a big conversion to follow, and it's not an easy one. Kelsey Jones just limping there with the effort. Quarter of an hour to go. Well, Robin Wilkins has gone 2 from 2 with an excellent conversion at the end of the first half. Can she repeat the feat now, working her way towards the end of this game? Just working away from the upright. So, a quarter of an hour left. 4 points the difference. Who has got the nous? Who has got the belief to get themselves over the finishing line?
Such an exciting battle, isn't it? Both teams playing really different styles of rugby. So interesting to see who is going to come on top of this one.
This is where experience is going to be absolutely critical. And the likes of Baratine for Italy, for Linnecrap for Wales, they have got to make their voices, their actions count now. With some of these younger players on the pitch that haven't been used to this sort of pressure. Evans. Bevan and Wilkins again, keeping that ball alive.
Tackle!
Joyce. Butchers to Evans again. Again, Italians up to their defensive duties.
She's off her feet, the ball's here.
Wilkins gets the call. Oh, that was a dumping tackle on Manon Johns. Forcing the kick from Wilkins in the end. And here comes Ostuni.
No, leave!
Italy will take that as the gain. Tunisi, once again, using her physicality to great effect. Rigoni. Wales pressurising the ball carrier, forcing them back. But Italy stitching together the handling, the phases.
She ripped it and then it went forward. Okay? Knock on.
Knock on from a red hand means it'll be an Italian put-in.
I think Wales will feel a bit frustrated there. That exit wasn't really as effective as I think they would have hoped to. Right idea, calm, composure, get some carries in there, get some momentum going forward, potentially entice the fullback or the wing to come up into the line, and then putting a big long boot, try and get the ball into the Italians' half. But unfortunately, Bromwell went for that sort of low grubber. She may have feared the wind a little bit, and it actually played into the Italians' hands. They now have the possession.
But as I'm standing on this commentary deck right now, the wind is coming from behind Wales, so I'm not sure it's constant.
Yeah, maybe it is just a bit too erratic, but you really would have liked to have seen Wales put a bit more on that ball and really clear and exit and release the pressure. But at the moment, it's back with the Italians. Let's see what they can do in this position.
So we've got movement either way, okay? We need to both get stable.
Well, Wales' only win at home against Italy was in 2012, can you believe?
Nice and high.
You played in it. That's
Yeah,
how
that's
long
how-
ago it was. I'll beat you to it.
You charmer.
But
you charmer.
you look at on the other side, Phil,
So
you look
find
at Solari
Wesson
was in
right
it,
for me.
Baratine was in it,
Yeah.
Alright?
Guy was in it, Bertoni and Stefan were on the bench. So
Yeah.
there's that really
Ready?
compares and contrasts the experience
Yeah.
within the Italian ranks as compared to the Welsh ranks.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're looking at, there was only 9 of the players on the Welsh team starting today actually played in the fixture last year, as opposed to with the Italians have 11 of the same players. And that, it would probably be 12 or 13 if it wasn't for their current injuries. So a bit more experience and stability, but that's maybe where Italy do need to be thinking a little bit further ahead and starting to bring in some newer, younger players if they're thinking about, the World Cups and moving forward.
Baratine and Rigoni certainly have been in position, as has Solari, for quite some time. Stefan almost been pulled out. Solari, though, the release valve should it be needed. Baratine, good work. Ball, I think, just edging backwards off the hand there. But the penalty goes against Italy as they come off their feet.
She's got to move. Yeah, it's okay.
In fact, it was Araghetti not rolling away.
Just to allow the ball to come out. She move.
It's just been a little bit too eager to try and protect the ball there, arrived at the ruck, not in control of her own body position, and then sort of shot through it, which is falling off your feet.
Ball coming in. Oh, it just falls short. I was going to make the mark there. Not to be. Right, into the final 10 minutes. You've got a 4-point differential. Fatigue is going to be a critical factor, as are those replacements. This is nicely in the balance now.
It really is. Unfortunately, for Wales, it's in the balance, but they're still in their half. They need to get out of there. Italy are going to be attacking every ruck now to try and get this ball back.
Contest.
And it's come back off the line out into the clutches of Silvia Tirani. Oh, Bertoni not keeping her eye on the ball.
And maybe, as you just mentioned there, how important these minutes are now. That's where the players are starting to feel, and you get these little enforced errors.
And how important the replacements are, because yet again we're seeing front rowers. We've hit the 70-minute mark, and front rowers are still on there. Now,
Yeah.
normally we know, certainly within the men's game, maybe after an hour they've been changed. They are going to be very, very tired with all that they've had to do in this game, in set and in loose.
Yeah, and there's been a fair few scrums, and you've seen how tight they are. They really are battling into one another. And the collisions and the contacts, the Italians have been running, it's predominantly their forwards that have been initiating all of these contacts. So you'd think the Italians might wear first.
Wilkins coming round to feed Jasmine Joyce. Is there going to be an opening for the 7 superstar to exploit? Crab. Sent back to earth by Tunisi, but the ball's still there. That's good tackling coming in from Giordano. Italy holding their hosts inside their own half. Again, you can see Wales trying to get Joyce in at any opportunity, pulling her off her wing, trying to make a different shape, a different framework with which to attack.
Real mismatch out wide now for Wales. But just like that, the ball is turned over. Those carries that initially from Wales did really well at actually disrupting the defensive line, and most of the backs were sucked into a collision, and you had a mismatch of pretty much a front row defending against the Welsh centre and the Welsh wing, Paige Randall. So if they could have got the ball wide then, they could have had a bit of success, but unfortunately, they lost possession.
Rigoni sends her team back up towards the Wales 22. Rigoni, who's been wearing 12 for pretty much the last 3 years. She did play fly half against England last year, but when she came through, I'm winding back to the 2017 World Cup, she was playing to replace Veronica Schiavon, the Italian playmaker who'd been around for so many years. I think she came back from Japan just for that tournament. But Rigoni prefers to play in that inside centre role with a bit more room to effect. But as I say, Veronica Medea with that ankle fracture has forced her change back to the 10 shirt for this campaign, it would appear. Well, a turnover there for Wales. Bevan having to dig that ball out. Again, the blue line moving up. The release to Randall. Randall with the chip and chase. Great take there from Magatti. Difficult take with this win, but she judged it perfectly. And Italy take possession of the ball once again. Just over 5 minutes left now. There's some hard yards to be made before that full-time whistle.
Rock forms, hands.
Baratine takes quickly. Needs to get the support up there. Butchers almost thought she had a chance to nick that one. Rigatoni says, let's get out of here, but puts the wrong kick in, takes the wrong club out the bag. And once again, possession goes to the opposition.
Yeah, you can start to see a bit of frustration there. Don't know whether they quite caught it on camera, but she's got the right idea. She wants to try and pin the corner, but unfortunately gets a little bit too much height on it, and it goes straight out. And as she walks away, you can see her sort of thrust her hands into the air through frustration.
Right, more changes. Ciara Bevan being replaced by Ffion Lewis as the Welsh pivot.
Exciting player, Ffion Lewis, has actually played some time on the wing in sevens, so that's the kind of finisher that she can be. She's very, very fast, so potentially, if, you know, there are some tired bodies now and she's going to be looming in around the ruck, I wonder if she might be given a bit of a wild card to have a little snipe and a dart at some tired bodies.
And comes from a famous family, I understand. Her brother, champion bodybuilder, superstar bodybuilder.
Yeah, that's right.
7 consecutive Mr. Olympic titles. Now, can his sister make a difference? Maybe it's not Olympic titles here, but it's a big win in prospect if they can work their way back up in the last 5 minutes. There she is. Lewis, Wilkins, just that little offload. Butchers finds Crabb on her shoulder. When Crabb sets up Welsh attack inside the opposition 22. That was a quick line speed from Magatti.
No!
Evans, Wilkins, Lake, Randall, suddenly with a little bit of space. Double gang though by Ostuni and Magatti. Right, Wales beginning to build up a little bit of momentum in the right sort of areas.
Yeah, really exciting to see that bust through from Alicia Butchers there, and she's got those soft skills to be able to offload as well. Really nice bit of play there from Wales. Gutsy defence from the Italians. Seeing a prop forward making a tackle on the wing, that's a real testament to your work ethic.
So the crowd really trying to make a difference now as we come into the death throes of this game with everything still in the balance. Again, Crabb calls to herself, but this time her pocket is picked by the Italians. And that is a huge play, massive play in the context of this game. Again, Wales not able to look after their possession.
Use the ball.
The release from Rigoni. Wow. This game is still going to go to the wire.
And still a good attacking position for Wales, but credit to Italy there. I think they read that very well. They knew the ball was going to Gwen Crabb, and they just did enough to trouble her and get that ball back. Shame they couldn't exit, again, not using whatever wind that we do or don't have here to really exit and clear their lines properly, because this is still a very good position for Wales to have another crack at.
So it's take 2, 20 metres further back. Lillicrap trying to get Karen Lake involved. Lewis gets the call from her forwards. Good tackling coming in. Again, I think that was Tunasi.
Hands out.
Big gaps to the right-hand side if they want them, but they're all loading up to the left. Hannah Jones has spotted it. Karen Lake's out there. But they still keep going left into the heavy traffic.
No, two, hands out, hands out!
Italy having to hold their discipline. Wales having to hold the ball.
Knock on advantage.
And just as I say that, it's spilled. And once again, Italy pick up the pieces. Under 90 seconds left now in this game. Can Italy make sure they complete possession and phases without shifting the ball and take another valuable win here in Cardiff?
Perfectly legal, you're absolutely right, but there was no advantage, okay? So we come back.
Well, it's been an epic performance by so many players, but the player of the match has been announced, and it's gone to that lady there, Giada Franco, a superstar in the making over the last 2 years. We've seen a development and a difference this year. Deserved award.
Yeah, really deserved. And as you've mentioned, we've seen her sort of brewing, really honing in her craft last year. She was the top try scorer for Italy, top for carries as well, and I dare say she was up there for tackle count as well. So, yeah, another solid performance from her. And like you mentioned, she's now cleverly sort of attracting players to her, but then releasing those lovely little inside passes to bring in other players of the team as well.
20 seconds Italy have to hold on for. Giordano holds on to the ball. Captain leading from the front. Great work from Elisa Giordano. Into the last play of what has been a titanic match in many ways. Baratine just wants another forward to do another half yard. The clock's in the red. Baratine to Rigoni. Rigoni sends the ball down to Culverhouse Cross. And it's Italy who take another win in Cardiff. They've done it in 2018. They've repeated the feat 2 years later. It has been a quite epic performance. And the team that finished second in last year's Six Nations show that they have learnt the lessons and carried it on. Tries from Bertoni in the first half, from Magatti and Stefan, the two wingers in the second, held their hosts at bay, and it's the Italian fans that will return home with success in their locker and smiles on their faces. The full-time score from Cardiff Arms Park, Wales 15, Italy 19.